this video we're going to look at using work. So let's draw our triangle first. So we have work is force times distance there. I'm going to label our triangle here. If you don't remember, if we're next to something, we're multiplying. And if they're top to bottom, we're going to divide. So, triangle fully labeled now. So what this is telling us is that when we do work, we're finding out how much force is required to move something a certain distance. This could be pushing an object. We need to know the force of it pushing down on the earth, so like its weight and how far we moved it. That'll tell us how much energy it took to move that object. And that's really what work is how much energy is required to move a certain weight a certain distance. So I'm going to jump in with a problem. So it says a bulldozer exerts 50,000 newtons over a distance of 6 meters. How much work is the bulldozer doing? So we're trying to solve for work. So, well, I'm going to plug in write our stuff up here. So we have 50,000 newtons, and we have 6 meters. So we have our force and our distance, right? So we're going to cover up work on our triangle. So we have work is force times distance. So there's our equation we're going to use. I'm just going to plug in what we know, our 50,000 newtons, and we're going to multiply by 6 meters to get work. So once we do that, we have work is 300,000 joules. We use capital J, written out like this. Joules, it's somebody's last name. You use French. So that's what we have for work. It's the amount of energy. We use joules for energy. So back to our triangle. I'm going to label these with our units on the outside. Force is in newtons, right? We saw that in another video. Distance should be in meters. Work should be in joules, capital J. So let's try solving a different problem. Let's solve for a distance. So I'm going to get rid of all this work. So our problem is 10,000 joules of work were accomplished by a group of sled dogs exerting 400 newtons of force. How far did the dogs travel in meters? So let's put our numbers up. So we have 10,000 joules. And our force was 400 newtons. Which means we're trying to solve for distance, right? So we want to know how far they moved it. So we can cover up distance. We have distance equals work divided by force. So we're going to plug in our stuff. We have our work here. We have 10,000 joules divided by our force is 400 newtons. That'll give us distance. So when we plug that into our calculator, we end up with a distance of 25 meters. So that is working with